Welcome to Scoop World Order. The home opener was a rousing success for the Buckeyes, 35-7 versus the Youngstown State Penguins. A great win for the Bucks. No major injuries, also something to be very happy about. A lot of guys got to play. Quarterback debate kind of rages on. I feel like Kyle McCord is slightly ahead at this point. Statistically, both had great days. Obviously, Cal hit the two bombs to Marvin on the one was a total blown coverage. The other one was two guys. I don't know. I have no idea what the two deep guys were doing on his second touchdown. But hey, you got to take it as you can get it. Marvin had a huge day, massive day, maybe a national player of the week type day. Trey Henderson looked absolutely fantastic. Looked like he was back at that Bijan Robinson first round type running back deal. So really excited, a lot to break down. As always, thank you guys for tuning in. We appreciate you guys. Get those questions fired up. Who were your MVPs today? Nevada and I are going to take a couple of MVPs. But if you enjoy this content, please click like, click subscribe, and also click that little alert bell so you can get alerted when we go live. And also shout out where you guys are watching from, who'd you watch the game with. Again, Florida, Ohio, Texas, a lot of people in this chat. Big one between Texas and Bama tonight. We're going to get ready for that one too. But first, I'm going to go straight to Nevadabuck. Nevada, your reaction to the game today. Obviously, Trey looked fantastic. Kyle McCord had a nice day. I don't think statistically it was great. Two blown coverages really helps. It's probably about 130-ish yards on two throws. But he did what he could do. O-line played the entire game. No substituting there. What were your thoughts?
I thought Kyle was better than you might have thought. And maybe my perception is skewed from you were at the game. Watching the game, I was watching it on TV, and I think you get two very different perspectives watching that. Even without the two touchdowns, I mean, he made a couple of really nice throws where he kind of gunned the ball, and they were, I don't remember exactly the situations of the down and distance or whatever.
Yeah, I think that. Go ahead, you're back.
I was going to say that weren't the marquee plays that people are looking for or whatever, but I thought he did some nice things with the ball, and I don't think he has a slight edge. I think he has obviously got a clear edge over Devin Brown. But what I do want to say to the fan, and we talk about this on the podcast all the time. Like, we try to make you guys smarter fans. We try to make you guys more educated about this stuff. Don't draw conclusions on small sample size. I said it last week, and I was the lone voice in the wilderness saying, please don't write off Trey Henderson. I know it's so tempting just to go, Chip's the best, and Trey sucks, and let's move him to the bench, and he should leave. And it's like, I got accused. I'm a homer. Trey's my kid. Why are you always on Trey? And I'm like, guys, no, just let's get a larger sample size and try to make some conclusions. I would say the same thing about the quarterback derby. And I said practice play is not game play. And so far in the game play, McCord's been better than Brown. But Brown hasn't been horrible. I mean, Brown almost cashed in all three drives would have been scores. He had two touchdowns. Third touchdown got called back on a brutal holding call. Would have been a chip shot field goal, but they went for it on fourth down, due to down and distance circumstance. And he took a sack, which was a less than optimal play. But I didn't think he was horrible. I think he was fine. And I'm of the opinion that we can win with either guy. Although, for my money right now, clearly I'm going with Kyle for a lot of reasons that don't have anything to do with blown coverages against YSU or anything like that. But I just think he's on the higher trajectory right now. And I think some of the things that have plagued Devin throughout the fall were plaguing him today. And he's a little loose with the ball. He was a little wild. I think he's a little bit amped up. He's trying to do a little bit too much. And until he calms down, I think McCord's the better option. I think that's what the gameplay dictates, but don't be that fan and react just emotionally based upon one game against YSU and be posting Devin Brown sucks, Zach Smith lied. Oh, there's no quarterback. McCord's clearly the best. This was a data point. This was a good data point. Kyle had a good, solid day, a really nice improve. I'd like to see him improve again against Western Kentucky and then improve again against Notre Dame. We just need to get better each week and do that. But don't write off Devin Brown because I still think Devin Brown can be a really good college quarterback. And I thought he did some nice things today. So those are my thoughts.
Yeah, I agree. I think that Kyle McCord's the guy going forward. He'll be the starter the rest of the season, barring an injury or barring just a catastrophe at Notre Dame. But again, I think that it's Devin's in a weird spot because again, Ryan Day has said probably 10 times in his last two conferences at his press conferences. He says the speed of the game, the clock, in terms of they get 60 plays now, they used to get 75 or whatever. I mean, when you're Devin, man, and you might only get two drives in the game. I mean, you're going to do everything you can, and sometimes you're going to press, and sometimes you're going to try to make more of it. And I think that that's something that Kyle's he gets more plays. He's taking advantage of it. He ripped some throws right down the middle today that were fantastic. I think that Marvin, the two Marvin bombs were interesting because Youngstown State left him wide open on the first play, which is crazy, and then the second play. Ryan Day said the play wasn't designed for Marvin, and he still got loose because they were double teaming him, and still somehow the two the safety in the corner both let Marvin get behind him in the end zone, and Kyle kind of he kind of punted the ball into the end zone. It seemed like it was up there forever, and it was kind of a duck, and Marvin snagged it, and hey, it all counts on the stat sheet. I mean, Marvin was like 7 for like 160, and he had a couple drops. I mean, he could have had one of those in 200-yard days today. I thought the offense looked great. I think that the O-line, obviously, they still have a ways to go. Youngstown State obviously is not a formidable opponent. They're one AA school, but Trey ran hard. He ran strong. Again, I'm always back and forth on reaching the ball out. I know that Urban Meyer and Tom Herman wanted to kill guys that did that, but Trey scored a touchdown by doing it. And if you're at the goal line and you think you can punch it in, I mean, it's kind of that risk reward scenario. But he reached it over, clear touchdown, easy call. Then they ran a beautiful counter play that we used to call Topper Bash. This is one of Urban's favorite plays that we ran with Devin in the game. I think that the hard part with Devin is that I feel like when he's in, that Ryan forces some Q runs, like he's trying to get him hit a few times just to get him loosened up and ready to go. Because I think that they think that he can run. Honestly, I thought Devin would be a little bit faster, a little quicker to the hole. I think he's a better scrambler than Kyle is, but he's not at the level of Justin Fields or Terrell Pryor, or some of the guys that we've had that have been freakish athletes. I think he's a plus athlete. I don't think he's a freak athlete. But defensively, Nevada, we finally got a pick from a cornerback. Thank God. It's been 2 years since we got one. What'd you like about what we did defensively? I think Tommy's going to be the player of the week, obviously. He had a huge day. He had a sack on the blitz with Sonny Styles. But what else did you like?
Well, let me start with what I didn't like. I didn't like that we gave up, I think, 7 for 14 on third down conversions. Got
Yeah.
to be better on that. But basically, there wasn't too much beside that. I think our pass rush could be more dynamic. Not seeing that, but when you break it down, though, it'd be interesting later in the week when we get a chance to break this down. They were doing some interesting things when they were running those double A gap blitzes where sometimes they were dropping Jack and JT into zone coverage, and they were doing a lot of interesting things on the line. So, I want to check that out in terms of what they were doing on that. But, look, after 2 games, and you can only play against who you're playing against, we're giving up an average of 199 yards a game. We're giving up an average of 5 points a game. So that's not bad. So, for people that were like, I want this, I want to see improvement. Well, did you think we were going to do better than 199 yards a game or better than 5 points a game? I mean, it's kind of hard to do better than that. But, other than today, we gave up 6 plays of over 8 yards in the game. Now, I know it's against Youngstown State, but that's what we gave up. One of them was like a 36-yarder to Tom Zach's kid, which love the name Tom Zach. Love seeing it out there in the stadium again. Hated seeing it against Cam Martinez, who just seems snake bit. And I'm not sure how often I'd be rolling him out there, but that's just that might be being unfair, and maybe I need to look at more of the plays. But it sure seems that whenever you see big plays, he seemingly is somewhere involved in that stuff. But no, I thought players played well. I thought Denzel Burke showed us why he was so good. I mean, last year that kid was hurt the whole year, and I know people don't want to hear that. And people just think everything's just linear, and that you just got to, if you were good as a freshman, you got to be better as a sophomore, better as a junior. I mean, he was hurt all last year and really struggling to get out there, playing well this year, playing really well. I think all the defensive backs are playing well, and it was nice to see him get paid off on that. It was a really nice play there in the end zone, making that interception. I thought Tommy Eichenberg had another really solid game. I thought Sonny was a mixed bag. Made some good plays on that touchdown. He comes crashing in. We watch that. He comes crashing in flat down there, gives up contain. I thought we gave up contain a couple times. Stuff to work on. But look, what I was looking for this week was improve, take a step forward. And I think across the board, if we look at our three issues that we were talking about before the season, we are talking about quarterback, we are talking about left tackle / offensive line, and we are talking about the defense. And then I throw place kicker in there. Place kicking wasn't an issue. Defense took another step. I thought the offensive line basically gave all the quarterbacks a clean pocket today to throw. Were we sacked today? I don't think we were sacked
I
again
don't
today.
think so.
No, I don't think so either.
Well, they got credit for. Well, they actually got credit for two. I don't know if one was on the fourth down, but
Okay,
they were
that's right.
credited
Yeah,
for
yeah.
2 sacks today. So I'm not sure, if there was another one. I mean, I was at the game, so it's a little bit tougher. But yeah, they were. Jackson State was credited with 2 sacks.
Yeah, but the shout out I really want to give, I want to give to the offensive staff. Man, last week I thought we were doing a really bad job of dragging guys into the box. We were playing those three tight end sets. We were bringing wide receivers in, and it was kind of a mosh pit on the inside. And today we kind of went to more of those power spread looks, and I thought it paid immediate dividends. And I know it. I know it's Youngstown State. I know they're a 1AA opponent, but I liked the scheme. I liked the coherence on offense a lot more this week. And again, it's just improvement. All you have to do is win and improve and avoid injury. And we did all three of those things. We won, we improved, and we avoid injury. And we all wanted to have kind of a clearer idea of what the quarterback rotation was going to be like going into Western Kentucky, going into the Notre Dame game, because whoever the quarterback was going to be, we wanted them to kind of get the majority of the snaps, get their feet wet, be ready to play in a very challenging situation in 2 weeks. And I think we kind of got some of that clarity today as well. So I really think this was a win-win-win across the board. Are there things to clean up? Without a doubt, there are things to clean up. Off third down conversions, giving them up on defense and converting them on offense. I think we were 3 for 10 today. Those are a big reason why we're only getting like 9 and 10 possessions a game. We're not getting very many possessions, and I think we've got to do a better job on both those things. But those are things that you can clean up. Those are you always have to have things you can improve upon. But nice positive step today. So I'm leaving today's game very happy about the game, and very very optimistic about where this is going to go in the short, medium, and long term for this Buckeye team.
Yeah, I agree. I think that as we get ready for Notre Dame, obviously Western Kentucky coming up this week, coming to the shoe, there'll be another beatdown. I still think we see two quarterbacks against Notre Dame. I mean, I think you'll see McCord. I think that they're going to use Devin in some running situations because they love showing the Q run. It's something you have to prepare for. Kyle obviously he's going to be the lead dog going forward. But I just think that some of the stuff they put on film was really good, like that they did with Devin Brown. And it's an element that Kyle McCord, frankly, doesn't get you. We're actually going to go into the film room and break this one down. This is one of my favorite plays of all time. It's called Top or Bash, where it's basically what you call a bash concept, which is a read this way. So the quarterback is going to read this defensive end right here. And what you do is you pull the guard. It's a down block, back block. So you pull here and you kick, and then you pull the tackle as well, and he walls. So Jimmy Simmons has to get up here and hook this guy. But the quarterback is reading this end right here. So I'm going to roll it real quick. So you see right at this moment right here, the end actually falls down. So he decides to give it to Trey. So Trey's got 4.3 speed hitting this edge. So, your tight end releases here, and then you got your blockers out here, your two receivers. There's all this green grass for a guy like Trey Henderson, which is unbelievable. But if you freeze it, if he pulls it, look at how this is blocked up. You got your kick here. You got your puller here. I mean, if Jimmy Simmons is a little cleaner here, I mean, Devin's running the same way. And you have this guy breaking towards Trey. So again, this is a very difficult concept. So I'm just going to run it all the way through so you guys can see it. But once Trey's in the open field, like this is the one thing I love with Trey is when he has all these little lanes to go through because he's so fast. And once he hits that 6th gear, man, he's gone. So, I wanted to show that because that is the ability that Devin brings. And again, I think Kyle is the starting quarterback. It's clear as day to me right now. But I think that if Devin pulls that, he probably runs for 25, 30 yards at least, if not a touchdown, because Trey attracts so much attention. And that's a concept that we hadn't run with CJ Stroud. It's something that was straight from the Urban Meyer playbook. It shows Justin Fry's influence on the offense. And I just love watching that because I think that, the thing that I'm a fan of on offense is how hard is it to defend. That is extremely difficult to defend, especially if you have a quarterback that can run like Devin Brown can. So, again, I think Kyle McCord, superior passer thus far. I think that Devin still has a lot of butterflies just because he barely played last week. He played like 3 drives this week. So, obviously, Ryan, again, it doesn't matter what I say. I mean, Ryan Day clearly favors Kyle McCord, but the Devin Brown, little running thing, and he can still throw it. I mean, he laced a couple balls in there. He missed a couple. He took the sack on 4th down, which again, I know everyone wants to throw it to the end zone, but you throw a pick 6 there, man. All your guys are down. Your receivers are down in the end zone, and there's a 100-yard pick 6 potentially if you threw it. I mean, no one was open. I watched the play, but he still took a sack, which again most people are going to be angry about. But I loved what I saw on offense. I think the O-line is progressing. Again, some holding calls. The Donnie one was terrible. Honestly, I thought this was the worst officiating crew I'd seen in years in the Big Ten. I don't know if this is because we played Youngstown State and they decided to put the rookies out there, but that officiating crew is awful today. Nevada, you were talking about that. What were your comments on the officials and just the progression of the offense?
Well, on the officials, look, it was pretty obvious from the early on. You can kind of watch these games, and when you watch as many games as we have, you just know. And so you saw it early. They're calling these kind of these marginal plays, and then like the plays that's kind of like a defining play to me was on the Trey Henderson fumble. How in the world could anybody think that was a fumble? I mean, that wasn't even close to being a fumble. And they roll fumble on the field, going to the thing. And it's like, that's when you know that they're just trying too hard. And then they call the hold on chip on the run, which was not a hold. That was not a hold in any world. That was not a hold. But no, I thought the offense did some really nice things. And like I said, I was not as focused on the big plays as I was the little plays. I thought we ran into way less congested boxes. This is by design. I think we were doing a good job of spreading out the defense, running some 4, even some 5 wide sets, and I thought they did a nice job at that. And I think that's something they can run. I think for Kyle, an area for improvement. I thought Kyle left some yards on the field. There were some times on some 3rd down plays where he had a chance to run for it, and he threw incomplete. And there was green grass in front of him, and all he needed was 5-6 yards, and I thought he could have took that. But that's stuff that'll improve. That's the best thing about these games is kids see what they did in week 1, they see what they did in week 2, and they get better as the season progresses. But I think that's one area for him, improvement in him. And for Devin, it's just he's got to clean up his mechanics. So he's not throwing those wild high and away shots. He's like the wild thing right now in Bull Durham. He's some of his throws are a little bit erratic, but. Again, I thought they both did some nice things. McCord just did more of them, and he's clearly the number 1 right now. I'm not ready to say that he'll be the starting quarterback the rest of the way, barring injury. I'm not there yet, and that's not rooting any bad things for McCord. But I think Devin Brown's way better than people think that he is, and I don't mind being the lone voice in the wilderness on that. Like I said. I was the lone voice on Trey Henderson last week. I'll be the lone voice on Devin Brown this week. Devin Brown's not my kid. He's not kin to me, but I think he can do some interesting things for the Ohio State team. And I'm not ready to write that guy off yet. So I'm looking forward to seeing more from both of them, and thought everybody took a nice step forward today.
Yeah, I agree. Like I said, I loved a lot of the concepts on offense a lot more than I did Indiana week. Again, we were more spread out. We ran some RPOs. We ran some really nice stuff. Again, I love the Q run stuff just because it's hard to defend. I know I'm not trying to kill our quarterback, not trying to turn him into JT Barrett or whatever, but the one TD we gave up was a Q run. It was they ran regular 13 book play on the goal line, and it's hard to defend. I mean, if you guys watch that LSU Florida State game, both teams did hurry up and they did read option with the quarterback keeping it, and they both scored touchdowns on it. And then Youngstown State did it. And why do they run it down there? Because it's really hard to defend, especially when you're all clustered up, and and everyone's trying to stop the A gap run. The A gap either power play or the A gap zone play, and then the quarterback goes around the end, and there's just nobody home. So again, I think that the play calling and the formations and the personnel I liked a lot better today. Again, I wish we could have ran some of the younger guys out there a little bit more. I mean, it was, I know they're trying to get good looks with Devin and with Marvin and Emeka and stuff, but it's wild seeing Marvin in a game with 2 minutes to go, up 28. When you've got Jaden Ballard standing there and Brandon is standing there and whatever. But I get it. You're trying to get the full photo. You're trying to give Devin a fair chance. Totally understand that. But again, I wish we could get some of our twos in a little bit earlier, just because I like to develop depth for the season. And some of these guys, man, if they have to go in the game, they'll be like, well, I haven't played all year, and it's like, what do I got to do? I'm going to break down one more concept.
Let me just go into one other thing, because I took a lot of garbage last week when we were talking about tempo and how Ohio State had been working on tempo throughout fall camp. And, oh, man, so much, we didn't run tempo. And it's like, first of all, guys, it was super hot in Indiana. I know it's not an excuse, but the word that Justin was concerned about the offensive line was going to play the whole game, running tempo in that situation. But regardless, this week we went to tempo a lot. We ran tempo a bunch today, and it was wildly successful. And I think it's a function of a few things. One, Day realizes that's one of the few ways he can get more plays in this with these new clock rules, is to run tempo. And secondly, I think our offense clearly operates better when we're going to. I think McCord operates better when he's just playing instinctively and is going out there and playing. But we ran tempo. I mean, I don't know how often we ran tempo today, but 50% of the plays. I mean, it was a big number. It was a big number. So to all you people that were like bagging on, where's the tempo in Nevada? There it was. So you guys can suck it. That was the tempo. So
I mean,
rant over.
It's so much better when we run tempo, because our whole team does better. Like, our running game's better, our throw game's better. Our concepts are simple, so it's not like some sort of hieroglyphics when you're trying to get a play in. It's not some 80-word, John Gruden West Coast offense play. Everything's simple. So I mean, you can go fast. Like, again, we ran the RPOs today. I love the RPO action when you've got Emeka and Marvin out there, because I don't know how you defend it. So I'll break down one of these real quick. But you got Emeka out here. He's one up. So you take that. That's like stealing every single time. But again, has our offensive line progressed? Let's watch this real quick. All right, we're just running a quick zone read, RPO. He pulls it. But look at this hole. Josh Schreier, excellent. Double team up to our combination blocks were bad last week. Excellent. Everything is locked down backside, working back here. I mean, if you hand this with Chip or Trey, and that's Chip there, that could go. So again, I like that. I don't know why he pulled this. I mean, he's reading him. So when he jumps in here, he's yanking it and throwing it to Mac. And Mac, again, it's like stealing. I mean, he's terrifying on the edge. I was just happy that we got these guys involved more, because after they only had 34 yards last week, I was like, what are we doing? You have the two best receivers in the country. They're both terrifying. And then Ryan Day decided, we better feed these guys, So, but I want to point that out. I thought the play calling was much better. I thought the schematics much better. And again, it was lesser opponents, so they're easier to block. I get that. Indiana, they had a guy that was in our staff room last year, and he knew us, and he knew what Ryan Day liked, and he knew that Ryan Day doesn't, run the quarterback at all. And I mean, they played it like that. But I said, I like some of the creativity, just like some of the little things that I noticed today as I'm rewatching this on film. What else did you like today, Nevada?
Well, again, I want to stay on that thing. I mean, to me, I thought the creativity and the scheme, and as critical as I was of it last week, I want to give credit where it's due. And I mean, to me, it was an A today. I thought they did a much better job. Again, forget the opponent. I'm just talking about the look. I'm just talking about the feel. I thought that was really good. And I liked I like seeing the second team defense going out there and playing. I love seeing guys like CJ Hicks running around out there, and Cody Simon is such a class act and such a veteran. Goes out there and making plays from the defense side. I like the Jim Knowles defense. I like the Jim Knowles defense. I think we take enough chances to kind of keep people honest. Are there things that we have to clean up? Yeah, but they're not the things that some people are focused on. To me, I'm much more concerned about losing contain on the edge than I am about our defensive ends getting there all the time. I think we can get away with having those guys hold the edge and forcing the pressure up the middle. And I think that's kind of a Knowles tenet. Knowles likes to bring pressure from the inside out, not from the outside in. And that's what he's trying to do with this. So that's why he's trying those double A gap blitzes, and the defensive ends are playing contain. So I think we've got a little bit of that going on. So I think maybe, we just need to be, before we're too hypercritical on Jack Sawyer and JT, I think we just need to take a step back and look to see what their assignments are, what they're being asked to do, because we're not giving up a lot of yards. We're not giving up big plays. We're not giving up a large. We're giving up probably 2 or 3 more third down conversions than I would like to see in a game. But other than that, there's really not too much to talk about on the defensive side, because we've been solid. And to the poster said he thought Sam Hartman would throw 5 or more touchdown passes against our defense. Man, I'll take all the action on the under that anybody will be willing to give me on that one, because I don't think our defense. I don't think our defense is going to give 5 touchdowns in a game to anybody. I think our defense is really, really good, really, really coherent, and really, really fun to watch.
Yeah, I love what our defense is doing right now. Mike Hull's great. Another sack, more pressure today. We got a nice rotation going, and we had a lot of ends playing. I mean, they put Jack out and JT out, and then they brought in Caden Curry, they brought in Kenyatta. At the end, we had kind of the AYOs in there. Cody Simon's the guy that was started on a lot of teams. I mean, he didn't play till deep in the game, but they got him and CJ Hicks out there a little bit. The safety thing was really interesting, because I felt like if Malik Hartford didn't start, he was in like the second or third play of the game, because I didn't notice him the first play, but I was actually watching the game with Cornelius Green, and he's like, hey, they got Hartford out there. And he's like, so I'm sitting there, and I was like, oh man, did he start the game as a true freshman? Because that's kind of cool if he did. If not, he was in like the second or third play. He was in the first drive. And, then they had Jihad out there. They put Sonny Styles back at deep safety. He played a lot of Sam nickel like he'd been doing. They're running a lot of 3 corners this year, which I love. Jordan Hancock with Burke and Igbinosin. Hancock plays the nickel in the middle, which I think is smart as you get deeper and deeper into the season, when you play better and better receivers, better teams that run 3 receivers. I think you have more coverage there. The 2 Ironmen, though, are Tommy and Steele never leave the field. I mean, those guys are out there the whole way, and they're really playing well. I mean, Tommy had a sack. Tommy's probably going to be the defensive player of the week. Really nice effort out of him, as always, being the spearhead of that entire unit. And again, Denzel Burke getting a pick was huge, because that is like this. It's like the slump buster finally took effect, man, because we didn't have a pick at all from our corners last year, which is crazy to think at Ohio State. And I was just happy, and I think that he felt a relief that he finally got one. You don't always get that big lollipop thrown up in the air, but hey, man, they were testing him, and he came down with it, and that was a huge play. And like I said, I just think that whole Rue play has a little bit of a relief after not having any last year. I'm going to bust down one more play. I love this play action concept. So here, this is Marvin's second touchdown. This is kind of the broken play. This was not designed for Marv at all. But here, I love the pull guard in pass protection, because you get a little bit of a suck on the safeties and the linebackers. Like, it sucks them down into the box because they see that run action, and they're running like a counter action here. And that's stuff that, you want to get these guys to take that one step forward when you've got the speedsters, and, you got these guys taking off here. You got, Marvin is he's up top. And again, this was not meant for Marvin, but this is great by Cade Stover. The guy who has the tough block here is Josh Simmons, because Josh has wound up the whole way. Meatball checks on him here. But Cade does a great job here locking him down with Donnie. It's a good pro, just kind of all the way around. And I mean, for McCord, hey, it's his boy. Let's take a shot. Somehow these guys let this guy get behind him. Like, 2 guys let one guy get behind him, and the one guy happens to be the best player in the country, Marvin. So credit to Kyle McCord, man. I mean, he saw his boy out there. He trusted him. Again, it can be very treacherous sometimes when you're throwing it up like that, but you got to trust your boy. And, hey, Marvin, if I throw that up to you, you better come down with it. And again, it got over their heads, and he kind of just, caught it like he was, laying in the pool or something. He fell right to the ground, and he's just relieved to have that big day. Well, any final thoughts, Nevada? We'll wrap this thing. Great effort by the Bucks. Again, the biggest thing in these games is develop guys, no injuries, and we accomplished both today. But any final thoughts, Nevada?
Well, anytime that I saw Marvin Harrison singled deep, I would throw it to him, and I'm not kidding. It would
No,
be an automatic
absolutely.
read. and I don't care if you throw it short. I thought Jake Butt did a nice job of breaking that down in terms of like, don't be long, be short, so those guys have a chance to work back to the ball, see if you can draw a penalty. But I literally, it would be an automatic rated. I would throw it every single time because he'll catch it 35-40% of the time. He'll get interfered with 35-40% of the time, and maybe it'll be incomplete, 15%, and maybe once in a while it'll get picked or something like that. But those are big plays. Those are
Yeah.
big plays waiting to happen, and when you've got a receiver like that, I would throw it every single time, and you see it all the time in the NFL. Guys just go deep, they throw it, and in the NFL the pass interference rules are more punitive because it's
Oh my
spot of the
God.
foul.
Yeah.
But I'll take 15 yards every time. That's 1/7 of the field. And no, that would be an automatic read for me to whoever the quarterback was. See Marvin singled out there wide. I'm just throwing it, and good things are going to happen.
I wish they did like a seasonal stat that would see how many defensive pass interferences a guy draws. Because like a guy like Marvin, it's not the spot foul, so you don't get all that yardage. But it's almost like, if he draws one or two of those a game, and that's like just extra 15 to 30. And if you're Justin Jefferson or Jamar Chase and you get tackled 60 yards down the field, that's a 60-yard play. Like that should count for something because those are game changers, man. Those DPIs and personal fouls that turn into first downs, and we converted on a long one with a 15-yard automatic penalty, an automatic first down penalty. So those are huge. Again, I like the effort today. I like the progression. Tougher opponent next week, and then we get the big one against Notre Dame. So we're gonna get it rocking. So with that being said, I got to get on Buckeye Scoop. I've been off all day. I was at the game. If you guys want the best companion in the game for Ohio State football, get on BuckeyeScoop.com right now. We are going to be on all day. We got the game thread going. We have the Bama Texas game thread going. Night games. It's going to be a great night to be on a message board. So join BuckeyeScoop.com. Appreciate all you guys tuning in. I want to hear who your MVPs are. Leave those in the comments. Please leave us a like, click subscribe. Also click that little alert bell. Let us know when we go live. We're going to go live tomorrow when I get some more tape to break down. But we appreciate you guys so much. Again, if you guys want the best companion for your football experience, BuckeyeScoop.com is the only place to be. It's awesome being on there. Can't wait to get on there. So hope you guys have a great rest of your night. Thank you so much. Thank you, Buckeye Nation. Thank you, Scoop family. Best part about being 2-0, it's a chance to go 3-0. So let's go. Getting close to those domers, boy. Appreciate you. Go Bucks.